You have never seen an atom. Neither have I. Neither has anyone, ever. Atoms are millions of times too small for your eyes, and even too small for an ordinary microscope. And yet, scientists will bet everything they own that atoms are real. So here's the question that should bother you. How can we be so sure something exists if literally nobody has ever seen it? The answer is a 2,000-year detective story, and it's wild. It starts with a Greek guy named Democritus, about 2,400 years ago. He had no lab and no tool, just a thought. He imagined taking any object and cutting it in half, then in half again and again. Could you do that forever? He decided no. Eventually you'd hit a piece so small, it simply couldn't be cut anymore. He called it atomo, uncuttable. It was a brilliant guess, but that's all it was, a guess, with zero proof. So the world basically ignored it for the next 2,000 years. Fast forward to 1804. A scientist named John Dalton noticed something strange. When elements combine to make a compound, they always do it in fixed whole number ratios. Exactly 2 of this for 1 of that. Never 2.5. Why always whole numbers? Dalton realized it only makes sense if matter comes in tiny, indivisible lumps that you cannot split. Suddenly, the atom wasn't a guess anymore. It had real evidence behind it. Dalton pictured it as a solid little ball, like a microscopic marble. But in 1897, J.J. Thomson broke the marble. While experimenting with electricity, he discovered he could pull a tiny, negatively charged piece right out of an atom, the electron. This was huge. If you can take a piece out, then the atom can't be a solid ball. It has to have parts. So Thomson pictured the atom as a blob of positive dough with tiny negative electrons scattered inside it, like raisins in a pudding. Then, in 1911, came the experiment that changed everything. Ernest Rutherford fired tiny positive particles at a sheet of gold foil so thin it was almost see-through. He expected every particle to zip straight through, like bullets through fog. Most of them did, but a few, a tiny few, bounced almost straight back. Rutherford was stunned. He said it was as if you fired a shell at a piece of tissue paper and it bounced back and hit you. There was only one explanation. Nearly all of an atom's mass and all of its positive charge is crammed into an unbelievably tiny, dense core at the very center, the nucleus. And everything else is mostly empty space. That's right, you are mostly nothing. 2 years later, in 1913, Niels Bohr added the classic final piece. He worked out that electrons don't just float anywhere around the nucleus. They travel on fixed paths at specific energy levels, like rungs on a ladder. This even explained why heated elements glow in exact, specific colors. And that's the atom you probably drew in school, a nucleus in the middle with electrons circling around it. Today we know it's even weirder than that. Electrons are really fuzzy clouds of probability, not neat little orbits. But here's the whole point of this story. Not one person on this list ever actually saw an atom. They proved it with whole number ratios, with electric sparks, and with bouncing bullets. Every single model was wrong, just a little less wrong than the one before it. And that is the real magic of science. We figured out exactly what's hiding inside something we can never see, simply by being clever enough to ask the right questions.